Evening. Welcome to the
Switch to
PMBC
computer.
meeting, February 24th,
Back to speaker.
2021. Rich,
To speaker, please.
yeah,
Oh, maybe.
Rich, we can hear you. Anyway, the first order of business is the warrant, which I will bring up. And there's only one item on the warrant, which is, can everyone see that?
Yes.
I got it.
It's one item for Johnson and Roberts for the library in the amount of $20,351.04. Is there any discussion?
Motion to accept it, to pay the warrant of $20,351.04. Bob Romley.
Is there a second?
Brian
Yeah, I'll
Pasquale.
second.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Roll call vote. Bob Romley,
Yes.
Brian Pasquale,
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Richard Crowley,
Yes. Yes for me too.
and Steve Moore, yes. So motion passes. Thanks very much. Let's see, we'll go back to the agenda here. And that's not the agenda. So the next item of business is to approve the minutes of February 10th. I had no comments on the meeting minutes. Any other discussion?
I don't think so. So I'll approve them. I'll make a motion to approve them.
Okay, Rich Crowley makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Bob Romley is second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Bob Romley, yes.
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Rich Crowley, yes.
Steve Moore, yes. Thank you. We'll move on to the library update with Brian Forres.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Library is progressing really well today. We had a great day today with the good weather. Had a lot of activity on site. If you'd like, I can share some pictures, Steve, if that's okay with you.
Yep. Can you help us out, Kirby?
No, I think I can do it.
Okay.
Brian's capable.
Thank you for the confidence. Can everyone see the gallery here?
Yep.
Yes.
So these pictures I took this morning, I can just kind of scroll through and give you a kind of an update on how we're doing on the interior. The MEPs and the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems are ongoing quite nicely. We have temporary heat inside the building. What you're looking at here is a stack of liquid and suction lines that will be feeding all of our variable refrigerant flow units throughout the building. That's a floor drain that was chipped in. Some of our hanging units are already begun to be hung from the mechanical contractor. You can see the unistrut rod that's actually being hung from the decking on the roof. So as you'll see up in this attic, this will be the finished product up in the attic as the insulation is actually on top of the roof. It's a picture I took from the side, and here you can see start of the tenting that the mason has begun as the masonry was delivered on site last week, and they've begun some of the brickwork around the perimeter of the foundation. As we make our way around the perimeter of the building, we have our AVB going on. We're scheduled to have delivery of our fiber cement board siding in the next 3 weeks. Here's a good picture of the tenting that they're performing with the temp heater that's been approved by the LFD to temper the areas that they're putting the brick in. We also have our third-party inspector that's been on site, and we're going to have them come out pretty regularly in order to take cubes of the mortar in order to get strength on those, to make sure that they're achieving the strength of the spec. Here's the silo and the other equipment from the mason behind the building. The back of the building. They've begun some of their scaffolding where they'll move around the building. Once they finish their section, they'll tent this off as well to perform their brickwork there. Here's the other section of the tenting that they've done on the west side of the building. Eventually, I made it inside one of these tents. I can show you the pictures. Here's some of the interior. This will be the meeting room down on the first floor.
So why is the water all over the floor? Are they
Yep. Let me,
doing,
sure. If I can, I'll kick back to this picture here. That water is relatively in this area right here. And if I was able to show you at the top of the roof, we don't have our AVB and we're not completely watertight in that area of the roof. And therefore, there's actually a little bit of snow on top of that was melting today. So we had a good walkthrough with Ed Mullins, the building commissioner, and we went through that all water needs to really be dried out, and that's going to be Commodore Builder's main focus for the next couple of weeks before any type of in-wall inspections are done.
good? Okay.
I can show you as I made my way into the tent, just to show you the conditions that they have. We do have our temporary CO detector with a very fancy block that is fastened to, as well as the temperature. As you can see, the indoor temp was actually a lot warmer than it was outside. We had a roughly around 65 degrees going inside the tent.
Nice.
Here's some of the beginning product of what we have right here. This is not washed down yet. I did a walkthrough with the architect this morning. He was really happy with the product as it sits right now.
Who do they have for Mason?
Senandela, they're out of Milford.
Okay.
Brian, are they gonna wait till spring to wash that all down, or are they gonna do it as they go?
Yeah, the best is to have this washed down in better weather because you don't want any freezing of what you're washing it down with.
Brian, I didn't see much of a cavity
Here?
behind the brick. Yeah.
Yep, they're filling that as they go with their with the insulation and then creating that cavity as well. What I'll do is I'll get a good shot of a top down shot next time I'm on site.
What are they doing there? Just returning the brick to
Yes.
cover up the cavity? If
Yeah.
we still have a good 1.5 inch cavity?
I believe so. I'll look at the detail for you. I can send that out tonight, what the actual depth of that cavity is.
Okay.
But all in all,
How are they-
Mason is progressing.
How are they,
quite well.
How are they keeping the mortar out of the cavity? What are they using to keep the mortar out of the cavity? Are they using a strapping?
I think they have a piece of strapping is what they've been using, yes.
Okay. Just take a look and make sure they got something.
Yep.
Looks good.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah.
I walked with the architect this morning and he goes, the first comment I'm going to get is, why can't we just brick the whole thing? So that's a good indication that the brick is looking nice though around the building. So just to give you guys a quick update on what's ahead for us, we have delivery, like I said, of siding in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Our interior stairs are due to be delivered tomorrow. They're going to coordinate with the fire department to make sure they have all their hot work permits. But that's a good sign for the project that we won't be using ladders to get up and down interior of the building. So that'll be a big step. We're also working with owner supplied items. Town IT has been working with the librarian about putting the servers and computer quotes together. And Johnson Roberts also has been working with the vendors for the metal shelving as well as furniture. They've come out and met with Sam at the library to see what type of metal shelvings will be moved over to the new location. And Sam has also been working with actual moving companies. So we'll be coordinating with them about when the right time is. I have another schedule and cost to complete exercise with Commodore Builders scheduled for 2 weeks from now. So hopefully at our next meeting, I can have a better update on where we're sitting with our schedule. I think we're still trending slightly early from the original substantial completion date.
Great. When you do your walkthrough with your masonry, can you make sure that they have the proper spacing on the ties and that the ties are embedded into the brick, proper distance. I think it's like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches.
Into the mortar, you're saying?
Oh, they're connected to the brick at least 1.5 inches, or 1.25 inches, I think it is.
Will do.
Yeah.
And that about does it for your library update today.
Brian, do
great.
you have any inside pictures of room 111 by chance?
Believe this is our room 111 right here.
Which view? Because that's too many windows.
I know. Let me,
Strange how you start counting and knowing which ones are which.
I know, right?
I was more curious as far as how the framing's going with the studding.
Yes. What I've been told is that drywall is about 2 to 3 weeks away. So studding is up, and is this the wrong one down on the first floor? Is this
Yeah,
too
that's the
many
wrong one.
windows?
Too many windows.
That's too many windows. You're right. I suppose I do not have one.
It's okay.
But
you,
I will.
You're teasing me.
I know. I get everything but. What I'll do is I'll provide you some tomorrow. I'll send out exactly where we sit. I gave that sketch. I got a preliminary sketch this afternoon, Kirby, and
Good.
it needed some tweaks. So I sent that back. He said, "Good. I'll get this right back to you. I'll distribute that to everybody before the actual RFP goes out."
Right.
And I think we're in a good spot, though.
Good. Brian, when do you think the official walkthrough of PMBC will occur?
At this point, I would like to get the stairs in, which are scheduled for tomorrow. And then, I think we'd be ready to do a walkthrough the following week or whatever works for everybody.
Okay.
Great.
And then, of course, the same question is I never heard back as far as the delivery of the model at the police station. I'm sorry for jumping ahead, but the same question as far as being able to take some pictures for you guys.
Yep. That is,
We'll touch that later.
no problem.
Thank you.
I can address that next.
Brian, what about the raceway or roof penetration for the photovoltaic system?
Yep, that has been issued. So we're awaiting just on the conduit price to run that up from the electrical room up to the attic space.
Okay.
Yep. We did go through, Ed Mullins had some building code questions that we wanted to make sure that we are in compliance with. So Phil O'Brien from Johnson Roberts is going to confirm or deny whether or not we need a certain amount of fire blocking on first floor partitions.
What
Okay.
size conduit are they running for the PV?
I believe it's a 2-inch.
Thanks.
No problem.
Any resolution to the sprinkler piping up in the unheated space?
Yes, I walked with Phil about that. There's a couple different variables. Obviously, it's going to make the drywaller's life a lot easier to not have to maneuver around certain mechanicals up in that area. But I also think it's going to benefit if we can still get the acoustical value that we want in those rooms. It will benefit everyone's peace of mind that we're at least introducing treated air into those spaces instead of closing them off. As it stands, the unit heaters up in the roof, up in the ceiling, are a belts and suspenders system to begin with. But it doesn't make sense not to give it to all of the spaces if it's going to be up there. So what we're going to end up doing is have something issued that's going to leave down some of the drywall in certain areas that won't be seen to the public. Just in the event it gets too cold and the unit heaters need to fire up, and it'll introduce heat throughout the building.
Okay, will there be, say, a separate thermostat up there to trigger that?
Yep, there'll be local thermostats probably on, I think they're on the unit heaters themselves.
Okay.
But Brian, so there's that interstitial space, that'll be non-accessible space, right? Except for maybe a hatch where the unit heaters are. So won't they have a unit heater up there to keep that space tempered?
Which space?
Above the ceiling?
Yes. So the issue is that there's a couple different unit heaters throughout the footprint of the building. And the architectural design is that we were drywalling up to the deck, therefore kind of secluding certain areas of the building. There was a couple study rooms that we were decking all the way up 18 feet up to the bottom of the deck, therefore kind of closing off certain areas that had sprinkler piping in it.
Oh, and you're gonna open up those walls?
Correct.
Yeah, they're not firewalls.
Correct. They're acoustic
Yeah.
walls.
Yeah, okay. So that'll help the air circulation then.
Correct.
Yeah,
The
okay.
hope is that we never have to use the unit heaters to begin with.
Here.
Oh,
Okay. Anything else on library? Then we'll move over to the police station. Can you give us an update on that, Brian?
I can. The mock-up has been delivered to the police station, Kirby, so that is ready for pictures. Steve had taken one the other day, and our architect is scheduled to be there on Friday.
Oh,
He's in
good.
receipt of all submittals that have been in for the waterproofing company. So at this point, we are tracking to have an approval on that materials and get those released so that we can begin work on our scheduled date of the 1st of April.
So what time is your architect going to be over there, Brian? So I can make.
I got the email this afternoon. I'll find out what time he's going to be there.
Okay, sir. I want to try and be over there as well.
Cool.
Thank you.
Sounds good. And then as for phase 2, we had our filed sub bid opening today at 2 p.m. We had a combined, so this is for 2 subs. It's for the roof and for the metal windows at a combined price that was at $108,560. That seems to be right in line of what we put out to bid with an estimated of the construction. We won't know exactly what we're at, but we did have a $100,000 allowance for the windows that came in around $78,000. And then the roofing portion, I don't really know where that's going to parse out with the overall general number. But according to the original quotes we got for phase 1, I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to be in line with our budget.
Are they replacing the windows?
Yes.
Are they gonna have the bulletproof glass, or we're gonna put the Lexan back in?
I believe they're being replaced with bulletproof glass.
No, I think the Lexan inside is going to remain.
Oh, I apologize. Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right, Steve. That
Yeah.
we're replacing with the Lexon. Yep.
Okay.
So it's just
Actually,
replacing,
it's going to benefit
replacing the
once we
windows.
Yeah, when we remove the old windows, we're going to be able to perform the work that really needs to be done in those headers.
Okay.
So I'll also be working with Arno from CBI to issue that change request in order to get the materials from phase 2 to be bought in phase 1.
Right. And do you know if the waterproofing company has their insurance certs in yet?
I believe so. That should have been part of their phase 1 bid.
Yeah, it should have been.
So I'll look at that and make sure that that was downloaded from Project Dog and make sure that we've got all of their bonds and certificates ready to go.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's all we're at right now.
Good. Well, I think we're on schedule with everything. Rich, do you have an update on the Houghton building?
Not really. Chris was gonna meet with the one or two of the trustees over there, and I haven't heard if they've met. And I actually reached out to Carolyn yesterday to get some information from her, and haven't heard back either. So
Yeah, it's really not a PMBC project, but I guess we're
and
kind
they can't
of.
do it. Yeah, they want to put a French drain in around the sides that don't have one, and it's under the snow right now, so
Right.
it'll probably have to wait for the thaw anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so on to member input. Bob Romley?
Steve, I thought that Carolyn had said that they talked to Paul Biagioni about doing something around that building.
Who is he?
He's
Landscape architect in Littleton, or landscaper.
yeah.
Okay.
His place is right up right across from or next to Neshoba Garage.
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as I understand it, the Historical Society has got the money to do this. They were just, I don't know,
Looking for guidance.
reaching out for, they wanted to go to the Board of Selectmen for approval, which didn't seem to make any sense. So they kind of got rooted down through us. And, but I think if Chris Stoddard can give them some guidance as far as what they need as far as permits and tying into the existing storm drainage out in the street.
Yeah,
Rich can probably just give them a hand.
I will. Yeah, by the time we meet next, I'll have something for you.
Okay.
I'm all set then, Steve.
Okay, Brian.
Just one thing real quick. Sorry to go backwards, but on the library with those walls that aren't going to go to the deck now, Brian, I know you mentioned you talked about that with the contractor, but did the architect sign off on that acoustically? I just want to make sure they're aware of it if we're changing that.
Yes, I walked around with him today. So there are going to be areas where we're going to be at least 8-10 feet above ceiling height
Okay.
that we're still going to be decking up fully with bat insulation in there.
Gotcha.
If
Okay.
there's still concern that we're not getting the acoustical value that we want, we could consider putting some bat on top of our ceiling.
Yep.
Or we could continue decking all the way to the deck and maybe putting in some transfer grills.
I gotcha. Okay. But you're not just going right above ceiling and cutting it off though. That's all.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, Bartlett.
No, I'm all set, thanks.
Okay, Rich.
I'm all set. Everything looks great.
Yeah, great. I have nothing. Appreciate everybody's time this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Brian Pasquale.
Bob Romley will second it.
All in favor?
Bob Romley, yes.
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Bartlett,
Rich,
yes.
yes.
Steve Moore, yes, it's unanimous. And thanks very much. The next meeting is March 10th. Same time,
All right.
same bat channel. So
Thanks, Steve.